Part 36. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 351. The next day, at noon, the atmosphere inside the Hero Building in Yushan City was solemn. Outside the Hero Building, 1,000 disciples from the Genki Gang and the Fire Dragon Pavilion each stood guard outside the Fire Dragon Pavilion, occupying 2 streets outside the Fire Dragon Pavilion. The disciples of the Genki Gang were dressed in black armor and held various weapons in their hands. Several altar leaders of the Genki Gang were hiding in several surrounding buildings. The disciples of the Fire Dragon Pavilion are all wearing fiery red cloaks, which is very conspicuous. The spear team of the Fire Dragon Pavilion is next to the Genki Pavilion. Under the red cloaks of the members of the Fire Dragon Pavilion, there is a bright metal breastplate. Each held a long gun with a bayonet on it, and a pistol and a short sword on his waist. Several heavy machine guns from the Fire Dragon Pavilion were also hidden in the carriages of several nearby carriages. The majority of people in Fire Dragon Pavilion are ordinary people, who occupy a place in the chaotic mountain because they are good at making firearms. There was silence on the street, and both sides stared at each other with daggers drawn. The entire Yushan forces are paying attention to this place. The cause of the matter was naturally the assassination of Tu Lai, one of the 4 great Vajras of the Genki Gang, last night. The Genki Gang, which had been in friction and conflict with the Fire Dragon Pavilion, suddenly locked onto the Fire Dragon Pavilion, and the atmosphere in the entire Yushan city suddenly became tense. If a signal is sent from the Hero Building later, we will immediately destroy the heavy machine guns hidden in the car of the Fire Dragon Pavilion outside, and strangle the captains of the Fire Dragon Pavilion's spear team. The spear team will just be killed if there is no command. The group is scattered and we are no match for close combat. Then we will cooperate with the guardians in the building to rob and kill the deputy gang leader of Fire Dragon Pavilion and others here. In the private room of a restaurant on a nearby street, the 2 altar leaders of the Genki Gang squinted and looked at the spear team of the Fire Dragon Pavilion outside the Hero Building in the distance, and they were discussing how to deal with the Fire Dragon Pavilion. The mage camp of Fire Dragon Pavilion has not shown up. It is probably hidden in the dark. We must be on guard. Their spear team will not come out without the protection of the mage camp. In the Hero Building, the atmosphere dropped to freezing point. The deputy master of the Fire Dragon Pavilion, Mile, sneered, crossed his arms, looked at the 2 guardians of the Genki Pavilion sitting opposite him, and refused to give in. Do you really think that we in the Fire Dragon Pavilion are easy to bully? One of you died in Tulia. Do you want to blame us, force us to make concessions in the mines, and want to monopolize the silver mines? What evidence do you have to prove that Tu Lai's death is related to me, Fire Dragon Pavilion? As long as you can produce evidence, everything will be easy. This Yushan, there is also Yushan's truth to be said. If you don't have evidence, then what you just said is nonsense. If one of the members of our Fire Dragon Pavilion dies, can we also frame it on the head of your Genki Pavilion and let you give us an explanation? Give us the mine. In the entire Yushan, you are the only one in Fire Dragon Pavilion who has a motive. Why, you have the guts to do it but don't have the guts to admit it. Yang Feiyan, one of the 2 guardians of the Genki Gang, also looked at Mile coldly. Unlike Mile, who is mature and strong like an angry lion, Yang Feiyan looks like a 15-year-old boy with raised eyes, red lips and white teeth, and is dressed in a white shirt. His appearance is quite confusing, but there is a slight evil spirit in the corners of his eyes. But if you think that Yang Feiyan is younger than Mile, you are absolutely wrong. In Yushan, Yang Feiyan has looked like this since 50 years ago. In terms of age, Yang Feiyan may be the grandfather who destroyed thunder. Legend has it that Yang Feiyan once ate the immortality fruit in the void secret realm, so his appearance has always been like this. Mile curled his lips. You Genki Gang are just trying to hide outsiders. We all know what Genki is. Stop being ridiculous. You are right. Our Fire Dragon Pavilion does have this motive, but Yu Genki gang has offended not many people. Fire Dragon Pavilion is not the only one with motives, and at the scene where Tu Lai was killed, those who killed Tu Lai were all members of the Demon Wolf clan. Do you think we don't know anything? There were so many Demon Wolf corpses left at the scene. If you have the guts, go to the Demon Wolf clan and ask for an explanation. The Demon Wolf clan is currently in internal strife. Many Demon Wolf warriors and Demon Wolf mages have been expelled and wandered to Yushin City. Those Demon Wolf can be hired as long as they can provide benefits. Do you really think we will be deceived by this little trick? Is it done? Still saying the same thing, where is the evidence? Without evidence, we at Fire Dragon Pavilion will not recognize any of them. If you want to fight or kill, we will accompany you at any time, even if you want to meet Zhenjiang here. Next to Ying Feiyan, another Dharma protector from the Genki gang wearing black clothes and chicken skin and white hair, Zhu Kongxing, suddenly stood up, filled with murderous intent, and slapped his palm on the table. The huge wooden table between the two parties' negotiations, suddenly the pieces turned into ice shards and scattered on the ground. The people on the Genki gang side were surging with aura, and the black mist was rolling behind them, and they were almost about to take action. The people on the Fire Dragon Pavilion also stood up all of a sudden. When they moved their thunder extinguishing hand, there was a black thing in their hand, like an ostrich egg. The surface of the thing was smooth, but on the smooth surface, but there are circles of strange runes. Seeing the thing in Milei's hand, everyone here in the Genki gang froze as if they were frozen. Several people in charge frowned and did not dare to do anything anymore. The hero building was instantly quiet. Everyone's eyes were focused on the thing in Milei's hand. Come on, keep going crazy, keep making trouble, want to do something, come on. A domineering and ferocious smile appeared on Milei's face, and there was even a hint of madness on his body. The fire dragon tattoo on his neck suddenly became clear. Milei glared at the people of the Genki gang with red eyes. I'll trade you all for one, and you won't suffer any loss. Come and say hello to me if you have the guts to see if I dare to die with you. Void Divine Thunder. Ying Feiyan's face was slightly distorted, staring at the black egg in Milei's hand. If you have discernment, although this Void Divine Thunder is the lowest level, it is enough to take away a few of you. You dare to detonate it? We in Fire Dragon Pavilion don't have as many summoners as you, and we don't have as many warriors as you. We don't have any other abilities, but there are many people who don't want to die. If I die, there will be a lot of people in Fire Dragon Pavilion who can take over the position of deputy gang leader. Do I dare? You'll know if you try it. Milei laughed crazily, looked around at the followers who came to negotiate with him in the hero building, and asked loudly, brothers, do you dare to die with me? I am willing to die together with the deputy gang leader to create a way for our brothers to live. Several of Milei's followers stepped forward and shouted loudly. Then several followers untied their clothes. Under the clothes, they were all tied up. Dynamite. Several summoners and a group of masters from the Genki gang were immediately overwhelmed by Milei and his followers, and no one dared to take action. At this moment, a rumbling sound came from outside the hero building, and the entire hero building seemed to be shaking. A group of Orc Tauren warriors, also numbering 1,000, wearing thick metal armor, holding sharp heavy axes in their hands, marching in a uniform pace, suddenly came darkly from the street in the distance. Those Tauren warriors were originally tall and strong, and their body weight plus the weight of their armor and weapons easily weighed over a ton. 1,000 Tauren warriors rushed over in neat steps, no less than an approaching train, and the whole ground was shaking. After the orcs, 1,000 snake warriors came from the other direction and blocked the street on the other side of the hero building. In the sky, a giant black snake 70 to 80 meters long suddenly flew over. When it flew over the hero tower, the giant snake twisted its body and turned into an old-looking snake man mage wearing a green robe. The snake mage spit out the letter on his lips, and his hoarse and weird voice echoed above the hero building. The silver mine in Longkonga was first discovered by us orcs. Why don't we talk today about how to divide the silver in that mine? The forces and people in Yushan City who were paying attention to the hero building were all surprised. They did not expect that the orcs would suddenly intervene at this time and formally announce to the Genki Gang and Fire Dragon Pavilion that they would get involved in the silver mines of Longkang Mountain. The original negotiation between the Fire Dragon Pavilion and the Genki Gang suddenly became complicated. Outside the hero building, with the addition of the orcs, the opposing forces suddenly changed from 2 parties to 3 parties, and the situation was instantly complicated. At this time, Xiaoping'an was no longer in the city, but appeared outside the city in Longkanggu, near the silver mine that the 3 parties were competing for. He was looking at the Genki Gang silver mine. Chapter 2 later today. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 352. Outside Yushan City, among the lush mountains, Xiaoping'an and Yan 11 were hiding behind a pile of rocks on the mountains, looking down at the mines that were being mined in full swing below the mountains. It was a large mine, with tens of thousands of people working in the mine below. The sound of the mining pot machine was earth-shattering. This is a shallow mineral vein. As long as the ground is dug a little, the deposit is exposed. The entire mine is dug into a huge spiral pit. On both sides of the pit, people are busy everywhere. The noise of people, noise, and machines are mixed together, the dust is flying, and it is extremely noisy. The excavated ores were hauled away by carloads to the smelting factory outside the mining area. On the roads in and out of the mining area, you can also see many armed teams from the Genki Gang setting up patrols to prevent outsiders from entering at will. Is this the Genki Gang silver mine? Xiaoping'an glanced at the mine and turned to ask Yan 11. Yes, on the backside of this mountain is the mine of Fire Dragon Pavilion. The 2 mines are the same vein, so this is the conflict between the 2 sides. Xianghe and Li Tishao, one of the 4 kings of the Genki Gang, are with a team of summoners stationed here. Let's kill him again. Yan 11 was a little excited. When he said what he was doing, he couldn't help but lick his lips. His pupils were slightly dilated, as if he was immersed in the excitement brought about by the assassination. Xiaoping'an also discovered that some people work as killers and assassins for life or work, but Yan 11 is completely enjoying the process. Do it, of course we have to do it. Xiaoping'an was also looking at the mining area below. There were many buildings and work sheds in the mining area. He didn't know if any of the summoners below had the ability to remotely view, so he recklessly used his remote viewing ability to search, but used his eyesight to determine the target. Where do Xianghe and Li Tishao live? Have you seen that 3-story building with a blue roof and a courtyard next to the mine? Yan 11 pointed to a building more than 2,000 meters away on a hillside on the edge of the mining area. Xianghe and Li Tishao, as well as the summoners stationed at the mine, usually stay in that small building, and occasionally come out to inspect. The wooden houses next to the small building are occupied by the mine protection armed forces of the Genki Gang stationed here. During the day when the time comes, they will be very lax. As Yan 11 said this, Xiaoping'an also saw the small building with a blue roof and the wooden houses below the small building. The place looked like a military camp, and there were many people next to the small building. The simple building complex should be the living area of the miners. In broad daylight, the patrolling mine protection armed forces did not take any time off. Instead, the small building with a blue roof and the people around the building showed a loose atmosphere. Some people were lying in the shade of the trees, sleeping, chatting, and scratching their bodies. Fleas, no preparation at all. Just as Xiaoping'an was looking at the place, a door on the 3rd floor of the blue building opened, and a man casually wearing a black fur vest and his chest exposed walked out of the house. After coming out, he scanned the mining area on the walkway outside the small building. When he saw that there was nothing going on in the mining area, the man stretched himself and then returned to the house. That person is Xianghe, one of the 4 great Vajras of the Genki gang, and a summoner of the 5 Suns realm. Yan 11 novel said, not to mention anything else, as long as one of the 4 great Vajras of the Genki gang is killed, Genki the gang will definitely be in chaos. If 2 of them can be killed, the Genki gang will lose 3 of the 4 great Vajras, and half of the people who can support the situation will be gone. If Wei Zhongxing doesn't come back, the Genki gang might be wiped out. Xiaopingan just glanced at the mine below and made an instant decision, formulating a plan of action in his mind. Him. Xiaopingan said, using a branch to draw a line on the ground and explaining the plan of action. Use earth escape to take me to the entrance of the courtyard of the small building first, and I will deal with the 2 guards at the door of the small building, and then rush directly into the room upstairs to kill Xianghe. You hide in the dark and coordinate with me. I, Li Tishao, and the others will leave it to you. Our action time is only half a minute. Starting from me, half a minute later, no matter what the situation is, we will immediately evacuate from the original route. If we encounter unexpected factors, we will retreat separately and meet again in Yushan City. Is there any problem? Xiaopingan's action plan seems very bold. He directly raided the small building in broad daylight to kill the 2 King Kong members of the Genki gang. This kind of plan would never be imagined by ordinary people. Without precautions, it may seem risky, but in fact the success rate is very high. Okay, Yan 11 nodded, and without further ado, he grabbed Xiaopingan, used the earth escape technique, and sneaked directly towards the target small building on the edge of the mining area. Every time Yan 11 uses earth escape technique, Xiaopingan thinks of Tu Xingsun on the list of gods. Earth escape technique is really hard to guard against, at least for ordinary summoners, it is completely impossible. The 2 of them entered the mining area and went directly from the underground of the mining area to the downstairs of the small building. No one in the entire mining area or the small building noticed anything unusual. At the entrance of the small building, there were 2 summoners from the Genki gang guarding the entrance. The 2 summoners were not focused on their posts, but were chatting casually in a low voice. What do you think the situation in the city is like now? I heard that something happened to the gang last night. Tully was assassinated by the demon wolf hired by the Fire Dragon Pavilion. I don't know. Anyway, I think we will have to fight with Fire Dragon Pavilion sooner or later. One mountain cannot accommodate 2 tigers. There is only one silver mine. Our mining area and Fire Dragon Pavilion's mining area have to be dug together. Didn't we still have 2 tigers in one mountain 2 days ago? Is there a mage from the Fire Dragon Pavilion coming to our place? This is not a good sign. Hey, it's a pity that the gang leader is not here. The 2 guardians and several leaders are a little hesitant in doing things. If the gang leader was here, I feel that we might have started a war with the Fire Dragon Pavilion. SHH, don't talk nonsense. What are you afraid of? The 2 summoners guarding the gate were chatting first, and they didn't notice at all. Just behind them, 2 little turtles with tongues and turtle bodies emerged from the ground silently. The turtle silently crawled behind the 2 people's feet and bit their heels at the same time. In an instant, the 2 people were frozen with a layer of white frost from their heels to the tips of their hair. The best thing is that the timing of the 2 little turtles talking happened to be when the 2 reached a sensitive point and took the initiative to end the conversation. Even if there were experts in the building who could hear the 2 chatting, at this moment, they suddenly discovered that the 2 of them were talking. It's not surprising that the chat has disappeared. As soon as Xuanhuan accomplished his feat, Yan 11 and Xiaopingan emerged from the ground the next second. Xiaopingan was wearing his Sand Bandit's wolf head mask on his face. Xiaopingan rushed upstairs as fast as possible without even thinking about it. Xiaopingan activated the step-by-step lotus skill, and the golden lotus flashed under his feet. Silently, he crossed more than 30 meters from the courtyard of the small building to the downstairs with just one step. The second step, the lotus flower under his feet flashed again, and Xiaopingan's figure rose from the ground, like lightning, directly from the yard to the third floor in one step, appearing outside the room where Xuanhuan appeared just now. Here, I could finally clearly hear the movements in the house. Listening to the noises coming from the house, Xiaopinggan had a strange look on his face. Then, Xiaopinggan did not break in. Instead, he took 2 steps forward and gently opened the door. The room was luxuriously furnished but smoky. A large group of people were gathered around a table, all of them staring at the dice spinning on the table with bloodshot eyes. Xianghai, one of the 4 great Vajras of the Genki gang, was sitting in front of the table with a pile of gold coins in front of him, and he was shouting, "Leopard, leopard, leopard. Xuanhuan is in charge, and the leopard can kill everyone." As for the other people, they were also shouting, "Little little little. Big big big. 15 o'clock, 15 o'clock. 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock." On the table, there are piles of gold coins, and some people even put the world beads on them. On the gambling table, there are big and small coins, and point coins, with different odds. Those people were immersed in gambling one by one. Xiaopinggan opened the door and walked in. For a moment, no one paid attention, and no one turned to take a look. "Damn it, why would you be so careful if you knew it?" Seeing this situation, Xiaopinggan was speechless. Ahem. Xiaopinggan had no choice but to cough twice. Hearing Xiaopinggan's cough, someone finally raised his head and looked towards the door, and then saw a guy wearing a ridiculous sand pirate mask standing at the door. "Hey, what do you do?" the guy finally asked. This sentence drew other people's eyes from the gambling table to Xiaopinggan, and everyone was slightly stunned. "I'm sending you on your way." After Xiaopinggan said that, while sealing the room with a silent barrier, the terrifying lightning that had been preparing for a long time burst out from his body. Xiaopinggan summoned not 1 lightning bolt, but 5 lightning bolts. When 5 lightning bolts were summoned, the effect was not inferior to the power of 2 Lies 5 Thunder Formation Talisman last night, and was even 2 points stronger. In an instant, every corner and every inch of space in the entire room was filled with the lightning's electric light. The terrifying electric light tore through everything, passing through each living body, electrolyzing and separating the body fluids in the body, leaving muscle tissue necrosis, paralysis, people's heartbeat stops, coma, breathing stops, the body burns, then carbonizes, then explodes. All of this happens in less than 1/10 of a second. The lightning was so fast and terrifyingly powerful that none of the summoners in the room, including Tully, had time to cast any defensive spells. The final result only proves one thing. Although most summoners are powerful, they are only flesh and blood. These flesh and blood bodies are completely unable to withstand the terrifying bombardment of summoned thunder and lightning. With one move from Xiaopinggan, everyone in the room was killed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 353. The electric light dissipated, and the charred corpses fell to the floor in the room. Only then did the dice on the table stop dripping in the bowl. 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, small. It's just that no one among the group of gamblers who gathered around could see this result. The whole room was filled with the smell of burnt corpses. In addition to the corpses in the room, a lot of things exploded out of the fused space equipment on Xianghai's body. There were gold coins, boundary beads, and all kinds of things, clattering like water pouring out of a dike. Floodwaters and fountains of gold coins spewed out from the ground, rolling out from the void and filling up half the room at once. There were too many gold coins pouring out, and they were so heavy that the floor of the entire room was pressed and made a weird sound, as if it was about to collapse at any time. At this time, Xiaopinggan didn't have time to take a closer look. With a wave of his hand, he received all the things in the room into the space warehouse, then turned around and rushed out of the room, rushing outside. Although he could block the sound in the room just now, such a violent fluctuation of divine power could not be blocked. The other summoners in the building must have felt it. Xiaopinggan had just rushed out of the room. In the room next to him, two summoners rushed out of the room almost at the same time. Suddenly, Xiaopinggan, who was wearing a wolf mask on his head, bumped into each other at the door. They were startled. This kind of hand-to-hand combat between summoners is like fighting with bayonets. The competition is to see who can strike faster. Before the two summoners could react, two ice picks flew out of Xiaopinggan's hands, directly piercing the heads of the two summoners and smashing them to pieces. The two summoners didn't say a word. With a sound, the body rolled down the stairs. Another summoner rushed out, but was also pierced through the head by Xiaopinggan's ice pick and killed directly. To be honest, except for Xianghe who has some strength, most of the summoners guarding this building are summoners from the 1 Yang realm and 2 Yang realm. Such summoners are different from those from the 5 Yang realm like Xiaopinggan. Compared with the summoner, he is not even a little bit worse. If he rushes out, he will die. Xiaopinggan had just killed several summoners when he felt violent fluctuations of divine power and hot breath coming from his feet, like a volcanic eruption. Holy shit! Xiaopinggan cursed secretly in his heart. Without thinking, a lotus flower appeared under his feet. He stepped on the lotus and stepped out of the small building in one step and arrived outside the courtyard of the small building. Xiaopinggan had just left when the whole small building roared and collapsed. Under the ground of the small building, a large pit more than 10 meters deep appeared. The lava rolling in the pit was all magma that was burned and dissolved at high temperatures. The ruins of the entire small building burned. In this case, even if there were 2 living people in the small building, they would be buried in the magma pit. It would be a good life to survive in the end. Yang Zi emerged from the ground like a ghost, grabbed Xiaopinggan's hand. Let's go. The two of them escaped underground and disappeared in the blink of an eye. From the 2 men's sudden attack to the final quick evacuation, the entire process took less than 10 seconds. The entire small building in the mining area was reduced to ruins and fire pits. It wasn't until this moment that the guards in the mining area closest to the small building screamed and discovered something unusual about the small building. A large number of people rushed towards the small building, shouting. A few minutes later, Xiaopinggan and Yan 11 emerged from a nearby hilltop. Looking down from here, the entire Genki Gang mining area is in chaos. There is no production order. Some of the mining area guards who rushed to the small building are still trying in vain to find someone to put out the fire. There are also some guards running around the mining area like headless flies, looking for suspicious people. Facing the powerful spells of the summoner, ordinary people's methods are too weak. At this time, the ashes cannot be found to put out the fire. What happened just now? There was such a big movement. Xiaopinggan finally found the opportunity to ask Yan 11. Li Tishao was in the underground training room. I killed him and killed the others in the building at the same time. The movement was a bit loud. Now, 3 of the 4 great Vajras of the Genki Gang are gone. Yan 11 he smiled and glanced in the direction of Yushan City, eager to give it a try. How about we go to Genki Castle and continue to work? The strength of Genki Castle at this time is absolutely empty. Okay, in this situation, almost half of the backbone of the Genki Gang is gone. It's hard to stop chaos. If the Genki Gang is destroyed and gang leader Wei is frightened and doesn't come back, that won't be good. Let's go back to the city. As Xiaopinggan expected, when something happened at the mine, 3 of the 4 kings of the Genki Gang were killed within 2 days, and only 1 was left. The entire Genki Gang was confused and panicked. The protector of the Genki Gang who had entered Yushan City to negotiate with the Fire Dragon Pavilion returned to the Genki Fort with the people of the Genki Gang in the afternoon. The entire Genki Fort suddenly became very tense. The Minotaurs and Snakemen who got the news showed their ambitions the next day. Minotaur warriors and Snakemen mages began to appear around the Genki Gang's silver mine, and they joined forces with the Fire Dragon Gang to protect the mine. There was friction and people died on both sides. Under such circumstances, Fire Dragon Pavilion was not idle either. A large number of members of Fire Dragon Pavilion's Spear Team and Mage Battalion entered the mining area of Fire Dragon Pavilion and began to expand the area of the mining area, crossing the center line of the mining area previously demarcated with the Genki Gang. Encroaching on the Genki Gang's mining territory. Facing the dual pressure from the Fire Dragon Pavilion and the Orcs, the Genki Gang was leaderless. In the several fierce battles between the Fire Dragon Pavilion and the Orcs, they did not gain any advantage. Instead, they lost a lot of people. The situation in Yushan suddenly became turbulent. As the instigator, Xiaopinggan, he has been completely aloof from the incident these days, watching with cold eyes, just waiting quietly for Wei Zhongxing to return to the Genki fort. As soon as Wei Zhongxing returns to Genki Castle, Xiaopinggan will be the first to know. In order not to expose his whereabouts, Xiaopinggan was as cautious as a hunter and did not even enter the spirit world. The dream demon can enter the spiritual world, which means that the overlord demon god or the blood demon sect has a way to integrate the dream world beads. Now the overlord demon god and the blood demon sect are looking for them all over the world. Since they know that they can enter the spiritual world, maybe they will set up some trap or use some method in the spirit world, waiting for them to enter and expose their whereabouts. Everything was as Xiaopinggan expected, but at night 7 days after the accident in the mining area, Wei Zhongxing finally fell from the sky and returned to Genki Fort. What Xiaopinggan didn't know was that when Wei Zhongxing returned, the master of the Golden Moon Palace of the Blood Demon Sect also led a large number of masters of the Blood Demon Sect and quietly entered Yushan. As night falls, standing on a hilltop more than 200 miles away from Yushan City, you can already see the lights in the basin of Yushan City in the distance. The master of the Golden Moon Palace stood on the top of the mountain, his black hair flying in the biting mountain wind. His ruthless eyes stared coldly at the basin in the distance, with blood mist billowing behind him. The sky crosser you mentioned is in Yushan City. Not bad. The two-headed white-haired demonic wolf stood behind the Lord of Jinyu Palace. Can you still feel that person now? The distance is too far, and the blood mark of the demon wolf cannot be sensed, but as long as you get closer, it will be fine. The 4 eyes of the two-headed white-haired demon wolf flashed with cunning light. Don't forget the conditions I made before. The blood demon sect's promise is true. As long as you can find that person, the blood demon sect's promise to you will be fulfilled. We will help your tribe unify all the demon wolf tribes north of Yushan and let you become Yushan even if you are not the lord of the demon wolf clan in the north. We will give you a reward of 5 million gold coins. With these rewards, you will be able to do anything, the master of the Golden Moon Palace said coldly. Now, but find that person. Without saying a word, the two-headed white-haired demon wolf turned into a black smoke and flew down from the top of the mountain, flying towards Yushan City. The master of the Golden Moon Palace waved his hand, and a large number of blood demon sect masters behind him also rose into the sky, like a large group of bats in the night sky, flying over the top of the mountain, following the two-headed white-haired demonic wolf straight towards Yushan City. Palace Master, do you want to inform Wei Zhongxing? It was not until those people left that a man appeared next to Jinyu Palace Master and asked softly. A strange bloody light flashed in the eyes of the master of the Golden Moon Palace. The last time the Sky Crosser who came here with Xiaopinggan died in the hands of Wei Zhongxing, the Genki Gang has been having troubles one after another in the past few days. It's not a coincidence. There may be ways for those who travel through the sky to communicate with each other. If that person is really Xiaopinggan, Xiaopinggan may have come for Wei Zhongxing, and informing Wei Zhongxing would be bad. Compared with the rewards from the dominant demon god, what is the leader of a small altar in Yushan? After saying this, the master of the Golden Moon Palace disappeared directly. If that person is Xiaopinggan, the opportunity to become a god is right in front of him. This time, Xiaopinggan cannot be allowed to run away. Chapter 2 will be updated later. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 354. The gang leader is back. Thank God, the gang leader is back. Now, those orcs and fire dragon pavilion are so beautiful. In the Genki fort, all the members of the Genki gang who were gathering in the fortress cheered. After experiencing these days of depression and hesitation, with the sudden arrival of Wei Zhongxing, the entire Genki fort suddenly came to life, and cheers from the Genki gang were everywhere inside and outside the castle. The members of the Genki gang who were guarding the fort wall were so excited that they could be seen waving torches from miles away. As a firework rose into the sky and exploded over the Genki fort, a big red word order was revealed in the night sky. The entire Yushan city knew that the leader of the Genki gang had returned. The one who was there. The word order that exploded in the sky above Genki fort was Wei Jiangxing's gang leader summoning order. This summons order was sent to the entire Yushan city. Xiaopingyan and Yan 11 naturally saw it too. When the summons from the Genki fort was raised in the sky, the two of them were on a hill 10 miles away from the Genki fort. The burst of red light in the sky, even though they were 10 miles apart, still deeply touched Xiaopingyan's heart. His eyes and face were dyed red in an instant. Xiaopingyan took a deep breath and loosened his tightly clenched fists. He looked at Yan 11 next to him. Do you know the terrain inside the Genki fort? You have said it many times these days, and we have rehearsed it many times. It has been clear for a long time that Wei Zhongxing is a very good thief. He lives in the underground secret room of Genki Castle, and may change the rooms in the underground secret room frequently. Wait for a while and wait for him to enter the underground. The two of us will take action. We enter the underground first, and then quickly lock his traces. He will not be able to escape. Yan 11 also nodded, spread his hands, and said with great confidence, I am just here to eat. You have to believe in my professional standards. That Wei Zhongxing is not that strong at the 6 Yang realm at most. If he hits the 7 Suns realm, and the layout of Yushan city has changed a long time ago. According to the routine we have been practicing these past few days, it won't be difficult to kill him. Kill Wei Zhongxing tonight, and you will be free, and the debt between us will be wiped off. Xiaopingyan suddenly said. Yan 11 was stunned for a moment, then overjoyed, and was about to speak. But Xiaopingyan hadn't finished his words yet, and Yan 11 interrupted him as soon as he opened his mouth. Don't be too happy too early. Even if you can regain your freedom, you'd better pray that something will happen, because once the sealing technique is cast, it will leave an eternal magic mark on your body. I believe you can feel this magic mark yourself, and it has been integrated with your secret mandala. If something happens to me, if I die, and the sealing spell in your body loses my power to suppress it, it will be reactivated by your divine power and go out of control. You will turn into a pig again. Then it will be difficult for you to regain your human body. Ah! Yan 11 was dumbfounded for a moment, and his face suddenly became bitter. He quickly begged, can you remove the magic mark on me? I can swear a blood oath and will never betray you. Otherwise, you can run away for a few months and then help me completely unlock the sealing technique. Then we may never see each other again, and I won't be able to find you again even if I betray you. Xiaopingyan spread his hands. Once the sealing technique is cast, the imprint of the technique is eternal. At least I can't undo it. It's just like when you eat uncooked rice and cooked rice and then digest it and pull it out. Do you think you still spit out rice? The same goes for the sealing technique. Once this technique is cast, the result is irreversible. Yan 11 looked at Xiaopingyan's face and felt that Xiaopingyan had not lied to him. He could only nod his head in resignation and sighed, then you have to live well and live for thousands of years. If something happens to you, I am miserable, Grandma. I have been a killer all my life, and for the first time, I sincerely hope that a person can live well. Let's go. Xiaoping'an looked in the direction of Genki Fort. Wei Zhongxing had almost finished speaking, and he was ready to take action. Yan 11 grabbed Xiaoping'an, drilled directly into the soil, and disappeared instantly. In the gathering hall of Genki Castle, Wei Zhongxing sat on a golden chair with his back straight, his face gloomy and his expression as iron as steel. To be fair, Wei Zhongxing has a rather upright face, a slightly square face with a Chinese character, a high and bright forehead, a pair of flashing tiger eyes under the two thick eyebrows, and a thick beard on his face. At first glance, he has the temperament of a gangster. Okay, I know the situation in Yushan. The silver mine has been postponed in advance. It's just a little money. Now it's taken by the orcs. We can take it back in the future and let the orcs spit it out with profits. The top priority of our Genki gang now is to find the murderers and masterminds who killed Tuli, Xianghe, and Li Tishao, and avenge them. I, Wei Zhongxing, swear here today that no matter who is involved behind the three of them, we, the Genki gang, are fighting against him to the death. If it is finally found out that this matter was done by the Fire Dragon Pavilion, I will kill the master of the Fire Dragon Pavilion to avenge our brothers. Wei Zhongxing spoke in a decisive voice. As soon as he said these words, the atmosphere in the Xian Hall was perked up, and the people who were originally anxious suddenly condensed again. Mines are a small matter, but people are a big deal. This is Wei Zhongxing's attitude, and it really boosts his morale. Willing to serve the gang leader, under the leadership of the two guardians, the remaining senior officials of the Genki gang in the Juxian Hall stood up together and expressed their attitude. Guardian Eagle, tomorrow you will take people outside the city to find those Demon Wolf warriors and Demon Wolf mages of the Demon Wolf clan who have fled to Yushan, and tell them that as long as they can provide us with information about Tu Lai, Xianghe and Li, if any clues about the murder of the three Iron Hands can lead to the hired murderer or the person who did it, our gang is offering a reward of 1 million gold coins. Since there were so many Demon Wolf corpses left at the scene of Tu Lai's murder, those people from the Demon Wolf clan should know something. This incident happened too suddenly, especially the incident in the mine. It doesn't look like it was done by the Fire Dragon Pavilion. The Fire Dragon Pavilion would not be so reckless, so it is not ruled out that someone wants to take advantage of the conflict between us and the Fire Dragon Pavilion. If you want to kill someone with a borrowed knife, we will both lose. Wei Zhongxing said sassily. Yes, Yingfi Yiyan, like a young man, accepted the order. The bamboo protector is keeping an eye on the mage camp of Fire Dragon Pavilion. If there is any change in the mage camp of Fire Dragon Pavilion, I want to be the first to know. Zhu Kongxing, who was dressed in black and had chicken skin and white hair, accepted the order, bowed slightly, and responded with a hoarse voice, yes. Other altar leaders will reorganize their teams and gather their elites in Genki Castle, ready to attack with me at any time. Yes. Okay, let's stop here for today's meeting. Let's all get out. Wei Zhongxing waved his hand gently. Everyone in the hall left in the blink of an eye. In the entire hall, only Wei Zhongxing was sitting on the golden chair, rubbing his forehead tiredly. The reason why Wei Zhongxing rushed back this time was indeed because he had received news from Yushan. It would be impossible if he didn't come back. If he didn't come back, the Yushan branch of the Blood Demon sect might really be broken up. Before returning to Yushan, Wei Zhongxing Zheng and a large number of people from the Blood Demon cult were chasing Xiaoping'an in Tongzhou province of the Great Shang Kingdom. News came from Tongzhou that traces of Xiaoping'an were found, so they suddenly attracted a large number of blood demons. The person who teaches goes there. In fact, in addition to Tongzhou, news came out from the southern region of Jinyuezhu, the Great Shang Kingdom, and many places around the Great Shang Kingdom that someone had discovered Xiaoping'an's whereabouts. In some places, there were even people from the Blood Demon sect and others. Xiaoping'an had fought against each other, and it was unknown whether the news was true or false, but every time the news came, it would attract a lot of blood demon sect's power to investigate and search. Even the leader of the blood demon sect, after hearing that the great merchant had found traces of Xiaopingan overseas, and that 2 of the members of the blood demon sect who discovered Xiaopingan's traces were killed by Xiaopingan, he went to the overseas sea to trace it personally. Wei Zhongxing has also been tracking for 2 months. While looking for Xiaopingan, he also has to fight with the summoners from all over the Shang Kingdom to eliminate the blood demon cult. He is already exhausted. Wei Zhongxing was relieved to be able to return to Yushan again, because he felt that even if traces of Xiaopingan were found outside, this piece of fat would not be his turn. Instead of doing this, it is better to return to Yushan and have peace of mind. He really wants to be his local emperor. Seeing that everyone in the Juxian hall had left, Wei Zhongxing sat on the golden chair for a while, with a thoughtful look on his face. He thought about the recent events in Yushan, and finally he pressed the side of the golden chair. There was a dark hole underneath the armrests of the golden chair, and the entire golden chair, together with Wei Zhongxing sitting on it, slowly sank into the ground. In the Genki fort, the underground is the safest. The underground secret passages of the Genki fort are crisscrossed with many different secret rooms. There are many safety protection measures around the secret rooms. It is not easy for a fly to fly in. Whether it is cultivation, it's safer to rest than in the fort. Wei Zhongxing often rests and practices in different underground chambers, and even the people closest to him have trouble keeping track of his whereabouts underground. Stepping down from the golden chair, Wei Zhongxing entered an underground secret passage. The walls on both sides of the secret passage were inlaid with pieces of fluorite that glowed in the dark. The light of the fluorite made the underground secret room a pale green, like a ghost area. After a while, Wei Zhongxing casually came to an underground secret room, closed the door of the underground secret room, and locked the mechanism on the door. Wei Zhongxing waved his hand and summoned several soldiers to guard the secret room. Then he moved his hand and took out a world bead and a spiritual crystal. This world bead and the divine mind crystal are extremely precious and special world beads that he got by accident during the past 2 months when he was running around outside. This world bead is the divine ear world bead, which is very popular among all the summoner groups. It is known that once this world bead is fused, the hearing of the summoner's ears will be improved to an unimaginable level, like a divine aid. On the world bead and the spiritual mind crystal, 4 small golden seal characters "Suyu wash your ears" flashed, but Wei Zhongxing didn't recognize them either. Wei Zhongxing sat cross-legged on the futon in the secret room, took out the world bead and the corresponding spiritual crystal, pricked his finger and dripped blood. In the blink of an eye, Wei Zhongxing's entire body was wrapped in a cocoon of light. From the beginning to the end, the god of Fortune Boy has been following Wei Zhongxing, jumping around him, and reaching out to poke the cocoon of light surrounding Wei Zhongxing. What Wei Zhongxing never imagined was that just when the cocoon of light had just enveloped him, one of the walls of his secret room suddenly turned red, and the rocks on the wall turned into magma and flowed down in an instant. Then the thick metal layer on the outside of the rock to prevent escape techniques from intruding melted instantly. A brilliant Suzaku flew into the secret room, and upon meeting it, several summoned soldiers that Wei Zhongxing summoned into the secret room for early warning were reduced to ashes. Xiaopingan and Yan 11 immediately emerged from the soil behind the dissolved wall hole. Holy crap, what kind of luck is this? Yan 11 was surprised when he saw the cocoon of light surrounding Wei Zhongxing, and looked at Xiaopingan with incredible eyes. The time and room of the assault were chosen by Xiaopingan. Yan 11 never expected that when the two came out, they would see Wei Zhongxing who was fusing the world pearl in front of them. The summoner who is fusing the world pearl has no ability to resist and is no different from a baby. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 355. Xiaopingan looked at Wei Zhongxing in the cocoon of light, and Lin Qing's face flashed in his mind. Just now when Wei Zhongxing was merging the Suyu cleansing world bead, Xiaopingan had already arrived. What the god of fortune boy saw, he also saw. Xiaopinggan was waiting for Wei Jiangxin to start merging before taking action. Xiaopinggan was very familiar with the illusion of Suyu's ear cleaning. If this illusion was combined with the spiritual mind crystal, the time would be very short. Wei Jiangxin might end the fusion and wake up soon, so Xiaopinggan would not waste time. Brother Lin Qing, today I will kill this person first to avenge you. Thinking silently in his mind, Xiaopinggan walked directly to Wei Jiangxing's cocoon of light with a calm face. Without saying any nonsense, he stretched out his hand and touched the cocoon of light, and spit out a fireball skill neatly. The villain dies because he talks too much. If you want to kill people and take revenge, just do it quickly. Although it may be more psychologically satisfying to let Wei Jiangxin wake up, give him a righteous scolding, and then kill him while he is crying, trembling, and wailing, but this is actually nonsense and useless. Even if an altar leader of the blood demon sect confesses in front of him, it is still a lie, and as long as such a person lives for one more second, he will have long nights and dreams. There are only two words for revenge: life and death. Every minute and every second when this person is alive and breathing does not count as revenge, only when he dies. Let these rubbish die, and let people like Wei Jiangxin die when they think they can successfully fuse the world beads. That is the simplest, most effective, and most comforting way to comfort your companions. Wei Jiangxin in the light cocoon felt like he was being cremated while sitting in an urn. His body burned little by little. After a few seconds, the light cocoon on his body began to vibrate in disorder. Then, before his whole body was cremated, the light Wei Jiangxing's face in the cocoon showed pain and distortion, but his body could not move. Wei Jiangxing's mouth, nose, eyes, and ears began to ooze blood. A few seconds later, when the burning tongue of fire reached his chest and neck, and the skin on his hands and feet began to carbonize and turn black, Wei Jiangxing's head finally exploded with a bang, and his brains shattered at the same time as the light cocoon surrounding his body like a goddess scattering flowers. The world bead fusion failed. Headshot. Such a result made Xiaopinggan feel a little frightened. The summoner was really too fragile when fusing the world beads. The last time Yangzi assassinated him, if he was still in the fusion state, he would have died. The headless body of Wei Jiangxin was still sitting cross-legged on the stone bed. His body strangely did not fall down, but was twisting. Xiaopinggan saw that the wound on Wei Jiangxing's neck where his head had exploded was still growing rapidly, and his charred and carbonized skin was falling off piece by piece. Under the skin, new skin was growing visible to the naked eye. Wei Jiangxing's body seemed to have strong vitality. He was unwilling to die like this and was still struggling, trying to be resurrected. This sight made Xiaopinggan feel a little numb. Damn it, Xiaopinggan waved his hand, and the flames surrounding Wei Jiangxin instantly became several times fiercer, revealing the shape of a red bird. Finally, under such flames, Wei Jiangxing's body no longer struggled, and quickly turned into ashes in the blazing flames, without any life left. Then, Wei Jiangxing's space equipment also exploded. Gold coins, elixirs, and boxes containing boundary beads poured out of the secret room. Xiaopinggan didn't even check. He waved his hand neatly, put away all the things that exploded, and shouted, "Let's go." Yan 11 grabbed Xiaopinggan and escaped from the large hole dissolved in the wall of the secret room. It took less than 8 seconds from the time the two appeared to when Wei Jiangxin failed to fuse with the world bead and was cremated. The assassination was completed neatly and instantly. Until Yan 11 took Xiaopinggan and escaped from the Genki fort, no one in the Genki fort realized that their gang leader Wei Jiangxin had been killed. Some of the people above may have felt the fluctuations of divine power coming from the underground, but Wei Jiangxin was underground. Those who felt the fluctuations of divine power coming from the underground might have thought that Wei Jiangxin was performing some kind of summoning spell. People above may not believe that Wei Jiangxin was assassinated less than half a minute after entering the underground of the fortress. Fusion boys locked the target and determined the time and place of the attack. Yangzi, who mastered the Earth escape technique, was beside him to respond at any time. Xiaoping and Yan 11's perfect surprise attack, Wei Zhongxing died unjustly. A moment later, in the dense forest 10 miles away from Genki Castle, Yan 11 and Xiaopingen suddenly emerged from the ground. The Genki fort in the distance was still peaceful, and members of the Genki gang were cheering. Okay, the grievances between the two of us have been wiped out. We have a long way to go, so let's take care of each other, Xiaopingen said, and handed Yan 11 a few boundary beads, which were the trophies just now. The beads are all fused by Xiaopingen and are no longer useful to Xiaopingen. These boundary beads will save you some travel expenses, but your work will not be in vain. Yan 11 was silent for a moment, then took the boundary bead that Xiaopingen handed over, and looked at Xiaopingen deeply. I didn't expect you to really let me go. Xiaopingen smiled slightly. You and I have no grievances in the first place. It's all about the world. You don't feel comfortable around me. Why force it? Let's meet again if we are destined. By the way, don't forget to pray for my long life every day. Haha. After saying this, Xiaopingen turned around directly, and in a few flashes, he was already 100 meters away, flying towards Yushan City. Yan 11 is also an old man in the world. He has seen everyone and experienced all dangerous scenes, but he has never seen anyone like Xiaopingen. He failed to assassinate Xiaopingen, but Xiaopingen did not kill him in the end. Originally, Xiaopingen could make him a slave for the rest of his life, but Xiaopingen let him go. During several actions with Xiaopingen, he actually still able to share the spoils of war. Yan 11 stood there, looking at Xiaopingen's disappearing back. He was stunned for a while, then shook his head and muttered, "Grandma, why do I still feel a little reluctant to let go? Do I have a tendency to be abused and become a bitch?" Thinking of this, Yan 11 couldn't help but shudder, slapped himself on the face moderately, muttered something in his mouth, and then suddenly escaped underground, heading directly towards the Great Shang Kingdom. Escape. Things in the world are just so unpredictable. In the eyes of Jinyu Palace Master, Wei Zhongxing is a person who can be sacrificed at any time, so Jinyu Palace Master did not tell Wei Zhongxing about the danger of returning to Yushan this time. Jinyu Palace Master even had the intention of using Wei Zhongxing to lure people out. However, the Lord of Jinyu Palace could not have imagined that Wei Zhongxing, who was already a master of the Six Yang realm, would actually be in the fusion realm without any resistance or struggle a few minutes after returning to the Genki castle. He was killed when he was a kid. A large number of experts from the Blood Demon sect and the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace followed Wei Zhongxing to Yushan. The distance of hundreds of miles created a time difference. Xiaopingen had already killed Wei Zhongxing and returned to Yushan City, but a large number of masters from the Blood Demon sect were still on their way to Yushan City. Of course, Xiaopingen himself did not expect that after he killed Wei Zhongxing, a greater crisis had quietly arrived. Soon, Xiaopingen returned to the hotel he rented in Yushan City silently. Killing Wei Zhongxing, avenging Lin Qing, and settling a worry in Xiaopingen's heart, Xiaopingen suddenly relaxed. Although the Hall Master of the Blood Demon sect was still alive, Xiaopingen asked himself that he was not a match for the Hall Master of the Blood Demon section. If he wanted to kill the Hall Master of the Blood Demon sect, he could only wait until later, at least until he had advanced to the 8th level. Only in the Yang realm can we have a chance. Where are you going next? Xiaopingen, who returned to the hotel, looked at the brightly lit Yushan City outside the hotel. This question flashed through his mind and he began to think about where to go next. Yushan City is a place where dragons and snakes are mixed. This place is suitable for escape, but it is definitely not suitable for practice, especially for people like Xiaopingen. Although a few rare world beads may occasionally appear in the auction house here, the number of rare world beads here is too few, and the cultivation resources are relatively poor. It is completely incomparable with places like Shangjing City. To be in a place like this, if he continues to mess around for another 10 years, he might not even be able to advance to the 6 Yang realm. Therefore, Xiaopingan will leave Yushan City, but where to go after leaving Yushan City, Xiaopingan has not yet decided. Xiaopingan wants to go to a place with many rare world beads. It seems that some void secret realms are rich in cultivation resources, but void secret realms are full of strange things, and there are all kinds of them. Xiaopingan is not sure which one is more suitable for him. It also takes time to gather relevant information to make the right decision. By the way, a lot of things and boundary beads exploded from Wei Jiangxing's body just now. I haven't checked them carefully yet, so now I can see what can be used. Outside Yushan City, dozens of miles away from Yushan City, Yangzi emerged from the ground. When he saw that there was no one around, he stayed close to the ground, spread his legs, and rushed towards the border. Flying in the air looks great, but it is too conspicuous and will reveal one's whereabouts at any time. For a killer, that is the most stupid behavior. Unless absolutely necessary, a top killer will never fly in the sky recklessly. Reveal your whereabouts in the air. The higher you fly, the faster you die. This is a wise saying in the killer circle. For Yangzi, the most ideal situation for evacuation at any time is to stay close to the ground and use the cover of the terrain to escape quickly. If there is a crisis, you can also escape underground as soon as possible. Just after rushing 50 or 60 miles on the ground, Yan 11 felt some movement coming from the forest in front of him. Yan 11's face moved slightly, and without thinking, he dived underground. Just a few seconds later, a two-headed white-haired demonic wolf rushed out from behind the valley in front. Behind the two-headed white-haired demonic wolf, there were a large number of blood demon cult masters, full of murderous intent, and Wu Yang. A large piece of it stuck to the ground, and followed the two-headed white-haired demonic wolf rushing out. Yan 11 wanted to return to Dashang Kingdom from Yushan City, while those people wanted to go from Dashang Kingdom to Yushan City. The roots of both sides met unknowingly in the wild. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 356. This Wei Jiangxing is worthy of being the leader of the blood demon sect in Yushan, a hidden giant, and he has a lot of stuff. Xiaopingan was in the hotel room, taking stock of what he had gained tonight, and was very happy. For a summoner, carrying some food, gold coins, etc. in the space equipment he carries with him is the basic configuration. Wei Jiangxing did not carry many gold coins with him, only tens of thousands. It is estimated that there is no place for him to spend money in ordinary times. Instead, he had gold tickets from the Great Shang Kingdom. He brought more than 600,000 with him, which was considered a huge sum of money. A small fortune. In addition to the gold tickets, Xiaopingan also found several special things among the bottles and jars on Wei Jiangxing's body. In a dark medicine bottle, there are 4 words "Black Evil Poison" on the outside of the bottle. This black evil poison is the same as the black evil poison that Xiaopingan was almost assassinated by the Dream Demon last time. It's just that the black evil poison in the bottle is very abundant. In addition to black evil poison, there is also a porcelain white bottle with 4 words on it, called Iron Stone Blossom. This bottle also scared Xiaopingan. Xiaopingan has heard of the name Iron Stone Blossom, but I have never seen it. According to legend, this thing is known as the best aphrodisiac in the world. This aphrodisiac is said to make the stone bloom when dropped on it, let alone people. According to legend, this thing can make summoners below the 9th level, they can all fall into the trap, and I don't know where Wei Jiangxing got it from. The 3rd bottle is a black crystal bottle. There are only 3 words "Immortal Pill" on the bottle. Just opening the bottle of Immortal Pill, A strange fragrance penetrates into Xiaoping's nostrils, making Xiaoping's whole body feel numb. It felt like the pores were opened, feeling extremely comfortable, and all the energy and blood in the whole body became lively. There are 6 more elixirs in the bottle. This thing should be rare even in the blood demon cult. Looking at this bottle of immortality pill, Xiaoping thought about the terrifying healing ability of Wei Jiangxing's body when he just killed Wei Jiangxing. Could it be that the terrifying self-healing ability of Wei Jiangxing's body came from this immortality pill? No matter what, this immortality pill can make all the masters of the blood demon sect flock to it. It is definitely a good thing and a good treasure. Xiaoping also carefully put it away. In addition, Wei Jiangxing also has more than 30 world beads and 7 or 8 spiritual crystals. Those spiritual mind crystals are useless to Xiaoping, but they may be of great use to some people. As for the boundary beads on Wei Jiangxing, most of them have been fused to Xiaoping, but there are still 2 boundary beads that make Xiaoping peace and joy. One of the 2 world beads is the giant world bead. There are a few words flashing in the giant world bead. Dao collects the giants. Last time Xiaoping saw the same type of world bead at Pengwang auction house, but unfortunately he didn't take a photo of it. He didn't expect that he got it by accident in Yushan this time. In addition to this world bead, there was another world bead that also surprised Xiaoping, because the small seal in that world bead was a name Chen Zhenlong that was not familiar to most people. Chen Zhenlong is very famous in history. He was the father of sweet potatoes in China. Chen Zhenlong was a great man who made indelible contributions to China's grain field in the Ming dynasty. Chen Zhenlong's historical achievements are almost comparable to those of Yuan Sheneng in later generations. Among Wei Jiangxing's divine mind crystals, there are no divine mind crystals corresponding to these 2 world beads, so Xiaoping doesn't know whether Wei Jiangxing has fused these 2 world beads, or because there is no corresponding spiritual mind crystal, so there is no fusion. But no matter what, these 2 world beads are now his own. Xiaoping has coveted the giant world bead for a long time, and he just got it tonight. He was about to take out the giant world bead to fuse with it, when suddenly a dark shadow flashed in the room. Yan 11 came out of the ground and threw himself into the house. He stumbled and fell directly to the ground. Xiaoping was shocked. Yan 11 jumped out from the ground, covered in blood, with more than a dozen wounds visible to the naked eye. Most of his clothes were burnt, and there was a wound on his shoulder that even exposed the bones. There was a trace of black smoke lingering around the wound, which was too horrible to look at. Yangzi was still alive and well when they separated just now. Why did he become like this in the blink of an eye? Xiaoping rushed to Yan 11's side and stroked Yan 11 up. What's going on? Yan 11's face was as pale as gold, and there was blood in his mouth and nose. He opened his eyes and looked at Xiaoping. He was panting violently, his spirit was slightly shaken, his face was full of anxiety, and he hissed, "Let's go quickly, the blood demon sect has already I have discovered your whereabouts. A large number of masters from the blood demon sect are rushing towards Yushan city. Before they know where you are, leave quickly, if it's later, it will be too late." As Yan 11 spoke, he vomited large chunks of blood. There were fragments of organs in his body in the blood, which made Xiaoping's expression change. Yan 11's injuries were very serious. Xiaoping looked at Yan 11's body and found that the internal organs inside Yan 11's body were like being squeezed out from under a steamroller. Many of the organs had been broken. Not only that, even Yan 11's body was broken. The secret mandala seems to have been violently shaken and has a tendency to become unstable. To be able to injure Yangzi like this must be a master at the 7 Yang realm or above. Looking at Yan 11's appearance, Xiaoping gritted his teeth. Without thinking, he took out the bottle of immortality pills he had just obtained and poured out 2 fiery red immortality pills from the bottle. He pinched open the Yangzi pills. 11's mouth poured the liquid into Yan 11's mouth without saying a word. "Swallow quickly." Yan 11 mixed with the blood that was about to gush out of his mouth and swallowed the 2 immortality pills in his mouth. The immortality pills were really effective. Almost as soon as the 2 immortality pills were swallowed, within a few seconds, the wounds on Yan 11's body began to stop bleeding quickly and healed. Yan 11's pale golden face suddenly had a trace of blood. The internal organs in 11's body are also repairing rapidly, but his secret mandala is still shaking. What did you give me to eat? The look in Yan 11's eyes gathered again. Elixir of immortality. Grandma's immortal pill, this is a treasure. The physical injuries, 1 pill is enough, 2 pills are too wasteful. Yan 11 grinned, struggled to stand up, and sat down on the chair. He gasped violently and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. I almost couldn't come back. What happened? You have the mark of the revenge curse of the demon wolf clan on your body. Do you still remember the 2-headed white-haired demonic wolf that escaped after failing to rob and kill Tully? That 2-headed white-haired demonic wolf can feel the demonic wolf on your body, the mark of a family's revenge curse. Yan 11 spoke, and under the effect of the 2 immortal pills, his body was also recovering quickly. The 2-headed white-haired demon wolf found the people of the blood demon section I left just now. We met them halfway in Yushin City, and they wanted to come to Yushin City to find you. At this point, Yan 11 grinned, Grandma, if you die, I won't be able to survive. My heart suddenly jumped out of the ground. I killed the 2-headed white-haired demon wolf who was leading the way. Killed, but when I was escaping, I was almost turned into scum by those people from the Blood Demon section. The master of the Golden Moon Palace of the Blood Demon sect is also here. They will arrive at Yushin City soon. You go quickly. My secret, the mandala, was damaged, the divine power was blocked, and I can no longer perform magic. I can't leave, but you can still leave. Xiaopingan took a breath of cold air and broke into a cold sweat. The revenge curse of the demonic wolf clan on him was left on the earth. Unexpectedly, it was actually sensed by the demonic wolf clan in Yushin City. Fortunately, Yan 11 killed that guy, otherwise, he might have died without even knowing. If I leave, you will be dead if you stay. In your current state, you have already met people from the Blood Demon section. How can you escape from the Blood Demon sect's pursuit? Yan 11 smiled bitterly. It's better than the 2 of us dying together. The master of the Golden Moon Palace of the Blood Demon sect is a strong man in the 8 Yang realm. The 2 of us tied together are not enough for him to press with one finger. As soon as Yan 11 finished speaking, Xiaopingan felt a strong wave of divine power coming from the sky outside. The god of fortune boy jumped out of Xiaopingan's secret mandala and arrived in an instant. On the roof of the hotel, I looked up at the night sky and saw hundreds of black shadows standing in the sky over Yushin City, and there were also black shadows flying towards the surroundings of Yushin City. The entire Yushin City was surrounded. The fastest website to update the mobile version. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 357. Yushin City was originally a place where snobbery from all sides was mixed. The bursts of divine power that suddenly arrived in the sky suddenly alarmed the entire Yushin City. With the arrival of a large number of people from the Blood Demon sect, there was a sudden commotion in Yushin City in the night. The summoners inside and outside Yushin City who felt those auras, and even the mages of the Orcs and Demon Wolf clan, came out of their houses. Walked out. In an instant, many figures rose into the air from various places inside and outside Yushin City, wanting to explore the situation. So fast. Yan 11 also felt it. He raised his head and looked at the roof, his chest heaving. They rushed in so blatantly. It seems they won't stop until they achieve their goal. They must find you. Please leave quickly. Xiaopingan frowned slightly. The more he was in such a crisis, the more Xiaopingan calmed down. His mind was clear and his brain was quickly coordinating and analyzing the situation in front of him. At this time, panic is seeking death. Perhaps the situation is not that bad. Now that you have killed the demon wolf mage, the people of the blood demon sect will not be able to find me in a short time, and they cannot be sure whether I am in Yushin City. The most important point is that they have not been able to find me until now. I can't be sure whether it's me or other Skywalkers who appear in Yushin City. Xiaopingan calmly analyzed the situation in front of him. Ah, they don't know it's you. Xiaopingan's eyes deepened. Of course I don't know. The magic wolf mage you killed can only confirm that there were Skywalkers who killed their family members in Yushin. There are so many Skywalkers, how can they be sure that it is me? If they can be sure that it is me who is in Yushin, and the person who comes to Yushin now is the leader of the blood demon sect, and Wei Zhongxing has been killed by us, once they find out that Wei Zhongxing has been killed, they will definitely lose their footing and become even more impatient. Why? If I were the master of the Golden Moon Palace of the blood demon sect, I would think that maybe after killing Wei Zhongxing, the person who did it had left Yushin directly and would not stay in Yushin anymore. Are you in Yushin? The people from the blood demon sect encountered outside the mountain city can just prove this point. In this case, do you think they will continue to search in Yushin City, or will they immediately leave Yushin to look for people? Those from the blood demon sect, if people weren't so angry at this moment, they wouldn't have rushed directly to Yushin City so blatantly. They are so anxious, which shows that everything is in chaos. Listening to what you said, it does make sense. Yan 11 nodded and looked up at the roof. In the night sky outside, there was already the smell of the collision of spells. His brows jumped again. Grandmas, turn me into a bird quickly. I feel like I have a better chance of surviving as a bird now. If those people from the blood demon sect see me like this, both of us will be finished. Xiaopingan nodded without saying anything. He pointed at Yangzi, and Yangzi's body turned into an eagle owl again in the smoke with a bang. After turning into a bird, all the clothes on Yan 11 fell to the ground with a crash. Xiaopingan put away Yan 11's clothes and quickly cleaned up the traces left by Yan 11. Only he and a bird were left in the whole room. Just like when he first came to the hotel, he did not attract any attention at all. Xiaopingan opened the door of the house, walked calmly to the yard, raised his head and looked at the night sky, and saw in the night sky, the brilliance of the summoner's fireball technique bloomed in the air like fireworks, illuminating the night sky could be seen by everyone in Yushin City, and even ordinary people were alarmed. A strong dragon cannot overwhelm local snakes. The arrival of so many masters from the blood demon sect is extremely arrogant. It would be strange if the local snakes in Yushin City remained motionless. At this moment, in the night sky of Yushin City, in addition to those from the blood demon sect, many summoners and mages from Yushin have risen into the sky. The collision of fireballs is just a test for the summoner. Seeing Xiaopingan go out, the eagle owl transformed into Yangzi flapped its wings, flew out of the house, jumped directly onto Xiaopingan's shoulder, and looked at the scene in the sky with Xiaopingan. Who are you? In the night sky, a summoner with white hair and beard once again released a fireball, which offset the opponent's fireball and turned into a ball of fireworks that exploded in the air. He quickly retreated and asked loudly. Those members of the blood demon sect all wore identical ghost masks. They were both cold and powerful. The number of masters of the blood demon sect frightened all the mages and summoners in Yushin City. In the entire Yushin City, all four there were not as many summoners as Yang Realm and above in total compared to these people in front of them. The strength of both sides was not at the same level at all. A master of the blood demon sect who was fighting with the summoner shot out an ice pick and chased him. A snake mage next to him waved his hand, and a black smoke like an arrow shattered the ice pick of the master of the blood demon sect. Neither side tried their best, but only tentatively sparred in the air a few times. Facing the sudden arrival of these people, the summoners and mages of various forces and races in Yushin City, these local snakes of Yushin, had unknowingly stood on the same front, and the two sides were faintly confronting each other. The cake in Yushin City has been almost divided, and it is now in a relatively stable state. Now these people suddenly appear. Everyone is worried that it will affect their own interests, so they naturally have to be consistent with the outside world. From now on, no one in Yushan City is allowed to leave. Those who want to escape will be killed without mercy. The voice of the master of the blood demon sect wearing a golden mask rang coldly in the night sky. The mountain snakes flying into the sky became frightened and angry. "Who are you, and why are you giving orders to us in Yushan?" a snake mage shouted, spitting out the letter from his mouth a foot away, and stared at the people of the blood demon cult with a pair of golden eyes. "Yushan is our base. Even the great Shang kingdom cannot occupy it. Can't we just want to annex the entire Yushan as soon as we come?" "Oh, really?" a cold voice suddenly remembered. As soon as the voice fell, the master of the Golden Moon Palace of the Blood Demon sect, who looked like a young boy, suddenly appeared next to the Snake Man Mage who had just spoken, and grabbed the Snake Man Mage's head with one hand. A rolling ball of blood-red mist directly wrapped the body of the Snake Man Mage, and then the Snake Man Mage screamed loudly. The other two Snake Mages next to them were shocked when they saw this. Without thinking, they raised their hands. Two fire snakes and two poisonous black smoke flew out of their hands and blasted directly towards the master of the Golden Moon Palace. This time, it was no longer a sparring match, but an all-out attack. A cruel smile appeared on the face of the master of the Golden Moon Palace. He stretched out a hand, and a big bloody hand appeared in the void. The big bloody hand easily smashed two fire snakes and two poisonous gases in the air. As soon as he fished it out, he immediately caught the two Snake Man Mages, and then pinched. Bang bang. The bodies of the two Snake Man Mages were like two small earthworms under the big bloody hand. They had no resistance and were crushed directly. Their internal organs and flesh turned into mud of flesh and blood. From the big bloody hand, they were crushed. It overflowed from the fingers and fell from the air. The Yushan local snakes in the air were shocked. Their faces changed drastically, and they broke out in cold sweat. They quickly flew away one by one. They wanted to know that the two Snake Man Mages who were crushed just now were two masters of the Yushan Snake Man clan. A summoner whose strength was already close to the Five Suns realm. Unexpectedly, such a Snake Man Mage was actually pinched to death by the young man with an evil face. What kind of spell is that? The body of the Snake Man who screamed in the hands of the master of the Golden Moon Palace shrank little by little under the squeeze of the red mist, and finally turned into a small twisting snake in full view of the public. Jinyu Dian opened his blood-red lips, exposed his snow-white teeth, and threw the little snake into his mouth, just like eating spicy strips. He chewed it a few times and swallowed the little snake directly. Then wiped his mouth, with a cold smile on his face. "With such strength, is it enough?" The blood demon called. Finally a summoner screamed. "We, the blood demon sect, are looking for someone in Yushan City. Who doesn't agree that they can come forward now?" The master of the Golden Moon Palace coldly scanned the people in the sky. Everyone's face turned pale, and no one dared to stand up again. As soon as the master of the Golden Moon Palace took action, all the local snakes in Yushan City fell from the sky, and no one dared to say a word. The Lord of the Golden Moon Palace was filled with murderous intent and anger and had no way of venting it. Just now, he went to the Genki Castle and discovered that in just a short time, Wei Zhongxing had been killed and died in the underground of the Golden Moon Castle. Ashes. As soon as Wei Zhongxing and the Magic Wolf Mage died, the plan of the Master of the Golden Moon Palace was completely ruined. In less than an hour, the entire Yushan City situation suddenly changed. In this situation, even the Master of the Golden Moon Palace did not know whether the Sky Crosser who appeared in Yushan before was Xia Pingan or someone else. Are people still in Yushan now? As soon as Wei Zhongxing died, the murderer might have left Yushan overnight. Seeing that the opportunity to become a god, which he was about to get, slipped through his fingertips all at once, the master of the Golden Moon Palace was already furious. The three Snake Man Mages happened to bump into his hands and let him establish his authority. Should we continue searching in Yushan or send people to chase him immediately? At this time, the master of the Golden Moon Palace also hesitated and struggled, but in the end, he still had to make a difficult decision and issued several orders in succession. Following the order from the master of the Golden Moon Palace, the masters of the Blood Demon sect were divided into several teams. 4 of them, with Yushan City as the center, pursued in the 4 directions of Yushan City, southeast, northwest, and northwest. Go and see if you can find any traces. Another group of people went to the territory of the Demon Wolf clan in the north to find a few demon wolves who were related to the killed Demon Wolf mage and could sense the curse mark of the Demon Wolf clan to come to Yushan City. The leader of the Golden Moon Palace continued to blockade Yushan City, not missing any opportunity. When the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace gave orders, Fu Shengtongzi floated in the air and listened to his every order. Chapter 2 later. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 358. 3 days later, Xiaoping'an was sitting on the 4th floor of Tianj Tower in Yushan City. While looking at the long queue at an intersection in Yushan City 1,000 meters away, he drank sips of Tianj with a silver spoon. The most famous bird's nest and 8 treasure porridge in the Song building has a disdainful smile on its face. On the window next to Xiaoping'an, there was a bird stand, and a listless eagle owl stood on the bird stand. For 3 whole days, Xiaoping'an didn't go anywhere. He was just in Yushan City, watching the Blood Demon sect getting angry and tossing around in Yushan City. He was fine. The team in the distance is the team leaving the city. Everyone who wants to leave Yushan City must be inspected by the Blood Demon cult masters, and the so-called inspection is to let those Blood Demon cult people use a mirror to take a look at what they are. What is the face? The people in line dared not speak out when they were angry, so they could only accept the inspection honestly. Because right at the intersection, there was a row of bloody heads hanging. Some of those heads were humans, some were beasts, and some were demon wolves. The reason why those heads were hanging there was because they had disobeyed the control of the Blood Demon cult in the past 2 days, wanted to leave Yushan City, and then had a conflict with the Blood Demon cult. In just 2 days, hundreds of people have been killed in Yushan City. People from the Blood Demon sect are guarding every intersection entering and leaving Yushan City. People who leave the city must be looked at with mirrors. There are people from the Blood Demon sect patrolling in the sky. To a certain extent, Yushan City has already temporarily fallen. In the face of the bloody methods of the Blood Demon cult, the local snakes and snobbers who once entrenched themselves in Yushan remain silent, holding their noses and acquiescing to the current situation of Yushan. Tell me, what is this? When did Yushan become the domain of the Blood Demon section? In Tianj Tower, several tables of people dining here shook their heads, sighed and complained, aren't those people from Genki Gang, Fire Dragon Pavilion, Heavenly King's Mansion, Orc Alliance, Divine Snake Mountain, and Demon Wolf City usually very upright? How come they are like this now? No one said anything, they were all bullied. Keep your voice down. I heard that the masters of the Golden Moon Palace of the Blood Demon sect are here. They are authentic strong men of the 8 Yang realm. Whoever can beat you in Yushan can only bow your head. Don't the Blood Demon sect want to find Xiaoping'an? It's been so many days. How could Xiaoping'an still stay in Yushan City? He must have run away long ago. Moreover, we have never heard of such a number 1 person coming to Yushan City before. I also feel that even if Xiaoping'an has been to Yushan City before, it has been so many days, and it is impossible for Xiaoping'an to stay here honestly. Don't worry, the Blood Demon sect won't be in Yushan City for long. On a table not far away, an old man with a white beard and 2 bodyguards beside him snorted, the Blood Demon sect is in the Great Shang Kingdom. After causing so many things, the entire Great Shang Kingdom is looking for an extermination of the Blood Demon section. Once the Great Shang Kingdom knows that so many people from the Blood Demon sect have gathered in Yushan, there will definitely be a reaction. Didn't you see that since that night, the Great Shang Kingdom has been in Yushan? Are all the people in the stockyards in the mountain city missing? The people from the Great Shang Kingdom have been hiding for a long time, and they have definitely spread the news. Now, maybe the experts from the Great Shang Kingdom are already on their way to Yushan. Everyone just waits to see the good show. Hey, it turns out to be Master Ma. Are you here to have porridge today? Some of the guests in Tianj Tower immediately recognized the old man and said hello to him. That old man seemed to be a figure in Yushan City. The business in our yard has also stopped. I have been bored at home for the past 2 days, so I went out for a walk. The fact that our Yushan City can maintain the status it has today is the result of the compromise and acquiescence of several major forces. It's about a balance. Behind the orcs and the magic wolf, each has strong men from their own tribes supporting them. Whoever wants to break this balance will never be allowed by the other parties. Mr. Ma touched his beard. Good view, good view. Once Mr. Ma says this, we feel at ease. The eagle owl standing on the bird stand listened to the discussions of the people in Tianj Tower. His big eyes looked at Xiaopingan, who was slowly drinking porridge, and he was filled with admiration. It is obvious that a huge crisis is just around the corner, but the person involved in this crisis acts like a normal person and has not lost a hair. Sometimes, in the face of a crisis, it is more difficult to remain still than to move, and it requires more courage and wisdom to remain still than to move. Yan 11 asked himself, if he were Xiaopingan, he would definitely want to escape Yushan that night, but Xiaopingan chose to stay. This requires sizing up the situation, precise and sharp judgment and vision, and the courage to remain calm despite the collapse of Mount Tai. Xiaopingan's 3 days in Yushan City were actually like dancing on the edge of a knife. The people of the blood demon cult were within his sight. However, he was still unscathed and could still sit here and drink bird's nest porridge. What is ability? This is ability. At the same time, on the highest peak outside Yushan City, the master of the Golden Moon Palace was standing on the peak, looking at a huge magic weapon placed in front of him, his face as cold as ice. The magical artifact placed in front of the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace is more than 5 meters high. The entire magical artifact looks like a huge egg. It is located in the east, south, west, north, southeast, and southwest of the magical artifact. There is a dragon on each of the 8 corners in the northeast and northwest, and a toad under the dragon's mouth corresponding to the 8 surrounding directions. And if Xiaopingan were here and saw that magic weapon, he would definitely exclaim, isn't this a seismograph? Compared with the seismometer, what is strange is the middle part of the magical instrument. The light and shadow in the middle part of the magical instrument are blurred, like a circular window. The entire underground situation of Yushan City can be seen clearly in the light and shadow of the magical instrument. The flow of underground water in Yushan City, even the number of pangolins in the mountain below, and the number of people in the secret underground tunnels dug by local snakes in Yushan City can all be seen in this magical artifact. In a word, this magic weapon can monitor all things that can move underground. Under the supervision of this magic weapon, magic such as Earth Escape will have no way to escape. In addition to this magical weapon, in the air of Yushan City, thousands of shadowless blood bats summoned by the master of the Golden Moon Palace are wandering around, cooperating with the blood demon cult masters in the air, covering the entire airspace of Yushan City. Blocked. Underground, in the air, plus the ground, the Trinity, no blind spots are missing. Now in the entire Yushan City, even if a bird wants to fly out, it must obtain the permission of the Blood Demon sect. The face of the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace was not good, because he had been guarding here for 3 consecutive days and found nothing. This made the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace couldn't help but doubt in his heart, maybe that person had left. Yushan, I am working in vain. Or, what happened in Yushan this time was that a Skywalker deliberately leaked his whereabouts in Yushan so that the magic wolf mage could sense it, thereby attracting the attention of the blood demon cult. In the past 2 months, Xiaopingan has appeared many times in and around the Great Shang Kingdom. As a result, Every time, someone was spreading suspicion. I have been struggling here for a few days, and the commotion and pressure on the Dashang Kingdom are getting bigger and bigger. The search team of the Blood Demon sect on the Yushan border has already fought with the summoners from the Dashang Kingdom's border army for several days. This time, there have been casualties, but the master of the Golden Moon Palace has to persist and give an explanation to himself and the people of the Blood Demon sect, in case the person who appears here is really Xiaopingan, and Xiaopingan is still in the city. What about guilt? Once such an opportunity is missed, it will be a missed opportunity to become a god. As long as the Magic Wolf Mage who can sense the revenge curse mark of the Magic Wolf clan arrives, it will soon be clear whether that person is still in the city. With this thought in his mind, the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace suddenly felt something. He looked towards the northern sky, and a hint of joy finally appeared on his ice-like face. Reporting to the palace master, there are not many mages of the Sego demonic wolf clan. Previously, the Sego demonic wolf clan lost in the internal fighting of the demonic wolf tribe. Many of them have been killed, and some have been exiled. We only found 2. A team of masters from the blood demon cult returned with 2 trembling and greedy demon wolf mages, trying to restore the life of the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace. The master of Jinyu Palace took a deep breath. Take them to Yushan City and search them separately for me. Yes. 2 teams of masters from the Blood Demon sect, with 2 demon wolf mages, entered Yushan City from the north and south directions of Yushan City and began to search. Upstairs in Tianj, Xiaopingan opened his eyes and suddenly cheered up. Are you coming? The induction of the revenge curse mark of the demon wolf clan is not without distance limit. This kind of induction can only be detected when it is close to a certain range. It cannot be detected when the distance is far away. This sensing distance is probably less than 1,000 meters. And Yushan City is a large basin. Although it is not very big, it can already accommodate many kilometers. At this time, the god of Fortune Boy became busy and began to jump around the 2 magic wolf mages, passing on the location information of the 2 people to Xiaopingan. After sitting on Tianj Tower for a while, Xiaopingan paid, carried the bird stand, went downstairs, and started walking around Yushan City. More than 20 minutes later, under the silent and slightly hostile gazes of Ma Sanyi and others on Tianj Tower, a group of masters from the Blood Demon sect and a magic wolf mage walked by looking left and right on the street below Tianj Tower. At this time, Xiaopingan was already trying on clothes in a clothing store more than 2,000 meters away. After trying on clothes in the clothing store for a while, Xiaopingan left the clothing store and went to sit at a waterside pavilion on a nearby street. A search team with a magic wolf wizard walked through the street 1,000 meters away from the clothing store. After sitting at the waterside pavilion for more than 20 minutes, Xiaopingan left the waterside pavilion with the bird stand, went south, found a tea house, and drank tea leisurely. Half an hour later, Xiaopingan left the tea house again and went to a theater to listen to opera singing. After a while, Xiaopingan came out of the theater and was still strolling on the streets of Yushan City. At this time, if someone could put a mark on the bodies of the 2 magic wolf mages and Xiaopingan in the air above the capital city, they would definitely find that these 3 marks, constantly swimming in Yushan City, were always a stable. The triangle, the mark of the 2 magic wolf mages, almost searched the entire Yushan City over and over again. Xiaopingan's mark also kept moving its position in Yushan City, but it was always with the other one. The marks of the 2 magic wolf mages were kept at a distance of more than 1,000 meters. The 2 demon wolf mages and the 2 teams of experts from the Blood Demon sect searched every road in Yushan City more than once from morning to night, from dawn to dusk, but the 2 demon wolf mages never found anything. Induction. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 359. The night is already dark. Hall Master, We have searched Yushan City several times today. We have searched almost every place more than once, but we still haven't found anything. On the highest peak outside Yushan City, the master of the Golden Moon Palace listened to the reports from his subordinates, glanced at Yushan City at his feet with a heavy face, and waved his hand. Send the order, everyone evacuates. Yes. The master of the Golden Moon Palace had previously suspected that the target might have left the city, but today's search finally confirmed his suspicion. During the search today, the entire Yushan City was under the surveillance of the Blood Demon section. Among the masters of the Blood Demon sect who followed the two demon wolves, 2 people had already used the secret method of the Blood Demon section. As long as someone peeked tracking the 2 demon wolves, and the searching team will be immediately targeted. In addition, the air and underground of Yushan City have been carefully arranged. No one vacated, no one escaped, and no one moved quickly in the city to avoid. Under this situation, the 2 teams searched the city several times, but no one found any. If found, it can only mean that that person has left Yushan City. If that person is still there, the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace really can't imagine what kind of ability that person has, and he can still hide well under such a search. A little unwilling, a little regretful, but seemingly relieved. This is the mood of the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace at the moment. The master of the Golden Moon Palace gave an order, and at various checkpoints in and outside Yushan City, masters from the Blood Demon sect rose into the air and were about to leave. But at this moment, a thin beam of fire suddenly flew like a bolide from the sky east of Yushan City. The thin and bright fire was incredibly fast. When I first saw it, it was still 100 miles away. In the blink of an eye, it had flown dozens of miles away. When I looked again, it was almost reaching Yushan City. The bright firelight penetrated the clouds and illuminated the night sky orange. After the thin firelight flew past, a thunderous rumbling sound came from the sky, and the clouds in the sky were stirred up. Come, an obvious path for the fire to fly is revealed in the sky. Lingguo, are you in a hurry to leave so soon? It has been more than 60 years since we last said goodbye to the Chaos God realm, and your little face has not changed at all, ha ha ha. Seeing the light of the fire, and then hearing the voice, the evil and tender face of the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace suddenly showed frost, and his eyes burst out with endless murderous intent. He stared at the fire, and his blood-red lips whispered. Open it, grit your teeth and spit out 4 words, Luo Tianjun. Seeing the flames rushing toward the master of the Golden Moon Palace with great momentum, a group of masters from the Blood Demon sect who were originally in the south of Yushan City quickly moved to stop him without even thinking. The Blood Demon sect has strict rules. If they see someone targeting the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace and don't intercept them halfway, the end will be extremely miserable. In an instant, the colorful brilliance of various summoning spells bloomed in the sky, all blasting towards the fire. The fire did not dodge, but suddenly exploded. A hole seemed to be opened in the indigo sky, and the endless flames spread in the sky like the sea bursting its embankment, billowing with fire. The wave completely ignored all the attacks and rushed straight through. All magic attacks hit the rolling waves of fire, just like guns and cannons hitting the rolling flood. They only stir up a little wave and are annihilated in the blink of an eye. There is no way to stop the advance of those waves of fire. Direction. There were about 40 or 50 masters of the Blood Demon sect who took action. Their expressions changed drastically, but they were annihilated by the waves of fire before they could even escape. In an instant, those Blood Demon sect masters turned into ashes, and all the fused space equipment on their bodies exploded. Various objects, including gold coins, elixirs, and magic weapons, fell from the sky like rain. The rolling waves of fire completely illuminated the sky of Yushan City. So strong. Xiaopingan stood on the street of Yushan City. He raised his head and looked at the night sky where the entire Yushan City was suddenly lit up by waves of fire. He was dazzled and a little thirsty. This was the first time Xiaopingan saw a strong man of this level take action in front of him. It was too strong. The Iron Masked Man and Ji Yi are also very strong, but Xiaopingan has never felt this kind of almost domineering and overwhelming power from the two of them. The masters of the Blood Demon sect who just took action in the air are basically four. There are many summoners in the Yang realm and above, including those in the 5 Yang realm, and there seem to be some in the 6 Yang realm. But as soon as that person took action, they were all crushed in an instant, without even the ability to resist. The gap between high-level summoners is like a chasm at the first level, which is really terrifying. With just one move, the masters flying in the sky of the Blood Demon sect were scattered in all directions like frightened birds. The entire Yushan city fell silent in front of the wave of fire that lit up the night sky. There are many brave and desperate people in Yushan city. Some people saw a lot of things falling from the sky. The gold coins falling all over the sky were like golden snowflakes, flashing golden light under the firelight, like a brilliant and shining golden waterfall. Falling from the sky is really tempting. Many people rushed towards the place where the things fell without even thinking about it. Great Shang Country, the strong men of Great Shang Country are here. In the restaurant next to Xiaopinggan, countless people poked their heads out of the restaurant windows to look at the sky, shouting excitedly, "Yushan City is too depressed these days, and they have been affected by the countless bird energy of the Blood Demon cult." Seeing someone strong when the visitor came, some people immediately became happy. Xiaopinggan did not move. He just stood there, raising his head and looking at the brilliant sky. On the bird stand in his hand, the silly bird also opened its mouth slightly and looked at the night sky with astonished eyes. Many people may not see a strong man of this level take action once in their lifetime. Ling Wuo, no one has called me by this name for a long time. Facing a large number of his masters who were killed in front of him, the face of the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace was indifferent, as if he was watching a swarm of insects attacking him. It was as if he was being trampled to death in front of him. It was innocuous. He just raised his hands slightly. The masters of the Blood Demon cult in the sky, as if they had been granted amnesty, flew towards the west in an instant, not daring to stay for a moment longer. Yes, those friends who called you by this name back then were all killed by you. Li Huo Tianjun walked out of the waves of fire in the sky, gently waving his sleeves, not taking away any of them. The clouds and the flames all over the sky disappeared in an instant, retracting and moving freely, as if they had never appeared before. Li Huo Tianjun looked at the master of the Golden Moon Palace with a somewhat complicated look, indifferent with murderous intent, determination, and a hint of regret. There are many wronged souls on the road to becoming a god. Today, you have become the famous Li Huo Tianjun. Do fewer people die in your hands than in mine? The master of the Golden Moon Palace sneered. Li Huo Tianjun shook his head, and walked step by step towards the master of Jinyu Palace in the air. I am different from you. I have killed many people, but I never harm my friends. You are wrong. I never harm my friends, because I never need any friends, and I have no friends. I only need stepping stones on the road to becoming a god. The corners of the eyes of the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace were cold, with a disdainful smile on his lips. So, your stepping stone also includes Xiao Wu. Li Huo Tianjun said, his eyes became colder and colder, but the aura on his body suddenly became fierce. Shut up. The master of the Golden Moon Palace suddenly roared, his eyes suddenly became ferocious, a layer of cuticle scales appeared on his forehead, the aura on his body suddenly became crazy, and a rolling blood cloud appeared behind him. Covering the sky and the moon, there seemed to be countless demons and ghosts trying to pounce out from the blood cloud. Haha, is this your road to becoming a god? In the end, you become neither human nor ghost. After not seeing each other for decades, I'm here to see how strong you are today, Li Huo Tianjun said. 3 horizontal lines suddenly appeared above the head. Of those 3 horizontal lines, the middle one broke off, descending suddenly with unpredictable power and infinite flames. Flames and blood clouds began to collide and tangle in the sky of Yushan City, trying to swallow each other up. The violent collision made a loud rumbling sound, like thunder, echoing in the sky. That's Li Gua. On the ground, Xiaopingna looked at the three horizontal lines exuding infinite power in the sky. His face was stunned and indescribably weird. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 360. The battle in the sky has exceeded ordinary people's understanding and imagination. In Xiaopingna's view, the battle in the air was like two spaces squeezing and colliding, trying to devour each other. In the flames and blood clouds, the figures of Luo Tianjun and the master of Jinyu Palace have disappeared. They can't be seen on the ground at all. Only occasionally, a streak of blood and flames overflows from the air, majestic and across the sky. Dozens of miles. The overflowing ray of blood hit the hilltop outside Yushan City. The entire plant on the hilltop instantly withered into ashes and lost all vitality. And the overflowing flame fell on the mountain outside the city. Amidst the loud roar, it burned a large, smoking, dark hole on the top of the mountain. The inside of the big hole was like a volcanic crater, with everything inside burned. Red magma. Ordinary summoners faced with such a battle, let alone participating in it, would be killed or injured even if they were affected 10 miles away. The blood and fire in the sky illuminated the entire Yushan city like daylight. The entire Yushan city was trembling under such a collision, and everything was silent. Fortunately, this battle did not last too long. In less than half an hour, the bloody light suddenly converged and turned into a blood line, quickly disappearing towards the west. Then the fire disappeared and turned into a line of fire. After leaving with the bloody light, the sky of the entire Yushan city suddenly darkened again, returning to its night appearance, and the brilliance of the stars and twin moons in the sky was revealed again. If it weren't for the smoke rising from the flattened hills outside the city and the fiery red rolling lava flowing down, the battle just now would have been as if it had never happened. Woo, woo, woo. The cry of the eagle owl and the flapping of its wings finally woke up Xiaopingna, who was immersed in the battle of strong men. Just looking at the three horizontal lines of the Li hexagram and the sky full of flames, Xiaopingna felt something in his heart. He thought of many things and vaguely touched the secrets of the world of the strong, and his mind could not help but be immersed in it. All members of the blood demon cult in Yushan City have disappeared without a trace. At this moment, Yushan City is once again noisy, and it is a good time to leave Yushan City. Let's go. Xiaopingna said to the eagle owl, and the eagle owl suddenly took off from his bird stand, flew up, and flew directly towards the east. The shock of Yangzi's secret mandala has not yet recovered, but he has the ability to fly after turning into a bird, so he can just fly away. To the east is the direction of the Great Shang Kingdom. The blood demon sect cannot be unscrupulous in the Great Shang Kingdom and has been wiped out everywhere. Therefore, to avoid the pursuit of the blood demon sect, temporarily returning to the Great Shang Kingdom is the best choice. As for where to go next after arriving in the Great Shang Kingdom, you can think about it later. Seeing the eagle owl flying up, Xiaopingna jumped into the air. The illusion of beacon fire tricking the princes was unleashed. In the eyes of outsiders, he turned into an eagle owl, following behind Yan 11, heading towards fly to the east. Xiaopingna was calm when he stayed that day, and now he is clean and tidy when he leaves. Although the people of the blood demon cult are gone, for places like Yushan City, new chaos and competition have just begun. In the wilderness to the east of Yushan City, bloody battles and killings have become fierce. The things that exploded from the space equipment of the blood demon sect masters killed by Li Huo Tianjun just now became the target of these people's fight. There were countless thousands of gold coins in the sky just now, pouring down from the sky like a shining waterfall in the light of the fire. There were many people who saw this scene, and even more people rushed here with the idea of picking up bargains. Many. In addition to gold coins, the masters of the blood demon sect must have other good things in their possessions. Those things may be looked down upon by strong men like Luo Tianjun, but to many residents living in Yushan City. Say, that is a treasure worth fighting for with your life. This kind of competition is like a wild dog seeing bones falling from the sky, or like a hungry crocodile seeing fresh flesh and blood dropped in the pond. The desperados in Yushan City, the wandering demon wolf warriors, the demon wolf mage, those gang members, and the wandering summoners who want to make a fortune, all rushed here. This is mine. A Tauren threw away the giant axe in his hand, and just picked up a lot of gold coins from the ground with joy. Before he could kick the gold coins into his pocket, a demon wolf warrior rushed over from the side, and cut the Tauren's head with a single blow. It was inserted into the person's lower abdomen. The demonic wolf warrior was very cruel. The knife inserted into the Minotaur's body was lifted upwards, and the wound suddenly expanded more than 10 times, and it was cut directly from the Minotaur's lower abdomen to the Minotaur's chest. The Tauren screamed, and blood and internal organs and intestines spurted out from the wound. Then he was kicked in the lower abdomen by the demon wolf warrior and fell to the sky. The demon wolf warrior who killed the Tauren quickly grabbed the hundreds of gold coins scattered on the ground, and even the dirt and rustling grass on the ground, quickly grabbed the gold coins and put them into his arms. At this time, there was no time to carefully pick up the gold coins one by one. Anyway, those shiny things on the ground, no matter what they are, just grab them in your arms first. In the surrounding wilderness of several square kilometers, in the mountains, forests, and valleys, there were shouts of killing and fighting everywhere. During the few days that the Blood Demon sect was in Yushan City, hundreds of people died in Yushan City. However, the number of deaths caused by the blasted masters of the Blood Demon sect falling from the sky in just such a short period of time had already exceeded several hundred individuals. Some of the first people who rushed here were smart and immediately stayed away from this place after finding some benefits. However, the greedy ones who wanted to continue searching were soon involved in the fighting and killing behind them, and soon died violently. There are also a steady stream of people running out of Yushan City to participate in the fight here. There are not many summoners who have space equipment. It is the high-end equipment of summoners. Those who do not have space equipment carry the picked things in their hands and arms. When others see it, they directly grab it. It only took a moment from when someone started to use the knife to when the person behind them became red-eyed. After killing the Tauren, the demon wolf warrior quickly picked up the gold coins on the ground and found that the Tauren still held a few gold coins in his hand. Without saying a word, he chopped off the Tauren's rough palm with a knife and moved the Tauren away. With his fingers, he collected the remaining few gold coins. After doing all this, he saw some fierce killings in the distance, and the demon wolf warrior was a little scared. He turned around and was about to leave. But just after running a few steps, the demon wolf warrior's sharp eyes suddenly discovered a figure in the grass on the ground next to him. Something is shining. The magic wolf warrior picked up the thing from the grass. It was a boundary bead flashing with yellow light. Sent. The demon wolf warrior was overjoyed, and just as he was about to run away with the world pearl, a fireball suddenly came from the side, turning the demon wolf warrior into a torch. The demon wolf warrior screamed and jumped away. Before he could take a few steps, a fireball struck him. The ice pick flew and pinned the demon wolf warrior to the ground. "Are you the one who got this thing?" A summoner with a cold face flashed out from the side and grabbed the world bead that the demon wolf warrior dropped on the ground, with a happy look on his face. Seeing a group of summoners, snake wizards, and wolf wizards fighting for something in the valley not far away, their brains were boiling. The grim-faced summoner shrank his head, not daring to be greedy anymore. Grab the boundary bead and run away immediately. What those summoners and snake mages were fighting over were several bronze mirrors. The bronze mirrors were diamond-shaped, slightly longer at both ends and slightly narrower in the middle, just like an eye. The entire bronze mirror flashed with a strange luster. This bronze mirror is the magic weapon used by the Blood Demon sect to search for Xiaopingan in Yushan City in the past few days, the mirror. This magic weapon is very rare. It can see through all disguises and transformations. Its value is huge, far higher than the rare world beads. The initial estimate is at least 100,000 gold coins. The people of the two blood demon sect are careful when using it. I want to see how precious it is, so the competition here is the most intense. There were 4 sides of such a magic weapon that exploded from the sky. One of them had been obtained by a previous summoner and quickly escaped with him. There were 3 sides here, and a large group of masters were fighting for them, and the fight was the fiercest. After a human summoner summoned an assassin to kill a magic wolf mage, he grabbed a face mirror, jumped into the air, and quickly escaped without thinking. Leave the magic weapon behind. A large group of summoners, snake man mages, and wolf wizards came after them with red eyes and roars. All kinds of attacks were like fireworks at the summoner who was about to fly away after grabbing the magic weapon. Most of the attacks hit the summoner, and the summoner's figure suddenly disappeared like smoke. No, it's an illusion. At the moment when the illusion dissipated, the figure of the summoner who had snatched away the magic weapon had been revealed 700 or 800 meters away, flying towards the deep mountains outside Yushan City, and was about to leave the battlefield. And just as the summoner flew over a forest, a black smoke like an arrow suddenly shot out from the woods and directly hit the summoner. The summoner who had snatched the magic weapon of the mirror screamed and fell from the sky, rolling down the hill. Looking at a group of summoners with red eyes, including the snake man mage and the demonic wolf mage, rushing towards them, the summoner who fell on the hillside had turned black and black blood was spitting out from the corner of his mouth. He looked at the face mirror magic weapon in his hand. Although he was unwilling to do so, he still gritted his teeth and swung the magic weapon of the face mirror into the bottomless valley below with a fierce shake. He himself quickly escaped from the other direction. Not paying attention to the summoner who left the battlefield, everyone rushed towards the deep valley and started fighting for it halfway. In the deep valley, there was thick fog and dense vegetation. The magic mirror that fell in the valley disappeared in the thick fog in the blink of an eye. Xiaopingan and Yan 11 also discovered that there were many people fighting for things falling from the sky in the east of Yushan City. The two of them avoided the fighting battlefield and flew away from Yushan City from a deep valley. Then, a mirror suddenly fell from the sky and landed in the trees on the valley floor in front of them. By chance, Yan 11 and Xiaopingan flashed past the trees above the facial mirror. The originally calm facial mirror magic weapon suddenly blinked like an open eye.